What is up, my YouTubers? It is July the 8th, 7/8/2018, and I just wanted to share a little bit of what's kind of going on in my life lately. Throughout my life, I've allowed a lot of people to walk in places around me that I shouldn't. I'm not always very clear with my boundaries, and because of that, I tend to get involved with stuff I don't want to be interested in. I hang out with someone and we do things that I don't want to, or I'm with someone else and we're having conversations that I don't want to partake in, and XYZ. And over the last, really this whole year, but especially over the last about 4 to 6 weeks, I've really been setting boundaries with people. And when something happens that I don't want to partake in, I have a friend who feels the need to touch me inappropriately because they think it's funny, and they do this to everyone. It's just something they do. They are generally inappropriate in that way, as far as I believe. And I started setting a boundary saying, you're not going to touch me like that. Stop touching me like that. It's not appropriate. I'm not okay with it. I know we've been friends for a long time, and I know that you do it to everyone, and it's not personal to me. I don't care. Stop. And it happened again, and then I ended up just walking away one night. Like, it happened, and I left. I had just gotten there, drove all the way to Dallas. I left within 20 minutes and was like, all right, I didn't get mad, didn't scream, nothing. Just said, okay, well, I've told you not to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and go home now. And we didn't talk for like 2 weeks. And then when we came back, guess what? It stopped. Because I set a boundary. It's the same thing with being around people that say they're gossiping and you don't want to gossip. We all gossip. It happens. It's unintentional. But when there's negative gossip, and when I've been around people that are doing something I don't like, all right, well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hang out over here. And some people, if they pay attention, will ask you later, why'd you leave? Oh, I'm not okay with gossiping with people like that. Like, I'm just not into it. I'm not going to partake in those kinds of activities. And some people get really pissed. Like, they get mad. They get mad that you set boundaries. Another example is I've been talking to this person for like 3 weeks consistently. And before that, we've been talking like back in February. And they keep talking about all the stuff they want to do. Like, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want this to happen and let's go blah, blah, blah. But then when I try to hang out with them, they don't. And so I finally responded and said, I'll be honest, you talk up a lot of stuff and you don't do anything. And I've been here before where people say, oh yeah, we'll get together next weekend, or oh yeah, let's talk on Wednesday, or oh yeah, after finals, or oh yeah. No. If people don't want to make time for you consistently over and over again and they just talk about it, that's draining. It's draining. It makes you feel like you're being lied to. At some point in the period of, 3 weeks is a long time, but really 6 months. That's plenty of time to find a few hours for a friend, right? Otherwise, they're just saying that. They're just saying that because they feel guilty or because they feel like they're supposed to. And if they truly wanted to hang out with you, they would. So I've been setting all these boundaries because I've learned what it is that drains me and what it is that stresses me out, and of course, I allow those things. I'm the first to admit I allow it to drain me. I allow it to stress me out. However, we don't need to be around people that do things we don't like. A really extreme example would be if you show up to a party and they're all doing illicit drugs that you don't do you stay and hang out to be supportive? Or do you leave? I leave. I leave because I'm not comfortable being around behavior like that. And some people would argue, be compassionate and hang out with blah, blah, blah. But I don't, if I'm in a room and everyone but me is doing X being a variable, and I'm not gonna do that, I leave. Because if it's something I don't want to get involved in, why would you hang out with them? It's one of those things. People are like, well, it's just alcohol or it's just drugs. Well, what if they were doing something more extreme, I don't know, animal sacrifice or something? Would you stay then? No. So I don't, it's a cut and dry rule. If you don't participate, leave. I mean, it's just something I do. And as I've been setting all these boundaries, as a part of a respect for who I am becoming, especially on a higher plane, and it's been a rough week. Let me tell you, it's been a rough week, like emotional week. But as I'm setting up these boundaries, I'm losing contact with people. People stop talking to you because they think you're either A, being hateful, which I'm setting up a boundary. What? It's a boundary. 2, they think that you feel attacked. They think people will come to me and said, I'm not attacking you. I didn't say you were attacking me. So why are you defending that now? Think about it. God, people are so funny with their words. It's like when someone comes out, listen, I need to be really honest with you, and they tell you something, I immediately question whether that was true. Immediately. I'm like, if it was so honest, why did you bring it up? Or blah, 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 blah. I promise I'm not lying. Are you sure? If you wouldn't have said that, I might have believed you. Anyway, and so what I'm saying is, guys, from the most optimistic, pessimistic place I can, is each of us should have our own boundaries. I probably had a video on boundaries before. I feel like I have. And I just want to reinforce what I've told you before, is that if you are enforcing your boundaries, you will get what it is you want in your life. If you do not set boundaries and you allow people to basically walk in and out at their own pleasure, you're going to get packages you don't want. And when those packages show up at the door and you open it and you realize that something bad comes out of it, I won't say I told you so because that'd be negative. But I warned you. Set boundaries. It's okay.